Good morning, friends. It's Bob again, bringing you another devotional reflection. And I want to continue on the theme that we talked about on Sunday. And that is that we are going to be people builders, that's one of the things, that's one of the job descriptions that God has put on all of his people, that he wants us to be people builders, that we build people, that we construct them, that we put things into their lives. And I want to begin by just thinking aloud with you for a moment on how some of the things that worked in your life, because I talked about three different dimensions, and these are three at least strong dimensions in every one of our lives in terms of how this might work. And that is that you have people along the journey that place things into your lives, that you have people that are in the challenging trenches of your life that are there, that put things into your life, build things into your life. And you have things when you're absolutely busted all to heck, and people build in that. I want to take a couple of times and just reflect on you with these and ask you to reflect on those in terms of yourself, of what kinds of things that people have built into you over a period of time. When we think about what has been built into us over the long life journey, that particular thing is something I think that takes a little bit more reflection to say, what has been imparted into me? What kinds of talks and kinds of friendships and relationships and situations where God was communicating something that was building things into me, building character, building ethics, building values that actually shape who I am, building truth into me in a way that actually sculpts who I am. And I am the composite picture of these particular things. Now, as I think about this for myself, I think of a number of different people. One, as I talked about my high school youth pastor, Gary Reddish. He was a person who was an unbelievable giver of value, that I felt valued by him in a way that I had never felt by any other human beings in my entire life. I know that my parents loved me, but the way that Gary made me feel valued, the way that he looked in my eyes, the way that he listened to me, the way that he celebrated me, those things changed me, and they put into me an ethic, a value of that people need to be loved. I needed to be loved. I needed to be valued. I needed to express that. And Gary made me feel valued, and that shaped very much who I am today. Gary also, one of the other things that Gary put into my world, my life in that journey, was that following God was actually fun and joyous, and that there was laughter. It wasn't all religious and all somber and all, how is this going to work? Fast forwarding a little bit from there, I had a professor in my seminary days named Gordon Fee, who actually turned out to be a mentor to me. And he was the one who in me actually imparted this value of wanting to hear what in the Bible, what the authors were actually saying. So if I put my heart on Isaiah's chest, he'd say, yes, that's exactly what I mean, Bob. If I put my heart on Paul's chest when I'm reading the writings of Paul, that I want to be able to hear, I want to have a sense that Paul is actually saying, yes, Bob, that's exactly what I meant when I wrote that, because that's what has the inspiration. That's what has the power in the Word of God. It's not just whatever anybody ascribes to being the meaning of it, but it is what the author intended to say, and that's what I want to hear. And Dr. Fee just absolutely put this into me. I would say pummeled me with this, but it really wasn't something that I wasn't willingly getting, but he imparted that into me. Another guy in the journey was John Wimber. John Wimber put into me this idea that I'm not the one who has to initiate everything, that God is working and God is inviting me in to work that's already in progress, that I want to look for what the Father's doing and then join the Father in what he's doing. And Wimber, personally and teaching-wise, imparted those things into me over and over and over and over again. These were things along the journey that really made a big difference in my world. And I want to ask you today, who has made a big difference in your journey and has imparted something into you? That's the first thing. Who has made a difference in your life, and what have they imparted to you in your journey? The second question of this is then, what did they impart to you there's the who question, who was there, then what did they impart to you? What were those things, those values, those truths, those things that were instilled in you through them? What were those things? And then the third question that's a really important question for us to ask and to answer in this is, what am I doing about that now? Have I just sort of set those things on the side? Were those just important building blocks, or were those things that I actually need to return to and say, wait a minute, those things are critically important for my life as it is. They're not just building blocks, and I need to go back and I need to rethink those things and to recommit to those things. I want to challenge you with that today, because I believe that God has done this with all of us. He has been speaking. He's been working constantly. And with this, we need to think, who is it that God has imparted to us in the journey? What have they imparted, and am I still being faithful to it? I love you. Thanks for joining me today. God bless you.